I think again, Trump started off well on trade. He's on these economic issues. He hit hard, but when he started to get onto these issues of foreign policy, you know, when he had some strange answers to questions about his own taxes, the direct question of his personal taxes. His weird answer, frankly, on birtherism and the fact that, you know, I mean, that he did President Obama a favor.
But that was another debate.
I don't think that came across as
Why are we talking about the birther issue? I mean, you know, I felt like as a voter and a viewer, I'm insulted and I'm disappointed. This is nothing that matters to anybody.
But that was...
Well, she did make a good point. Again, I take your point, Maria, but she did say, look, this is an issue of race.
That was under the issue of race.
And
exactly.
she said, you know, you have challenged the authenticity of the nationality of the nation's first African-American president. There's no question, and whether or not Donald Trump means it, there's no question that the birther issue has an undercurrent of race for a lot of people.
Because as a black man, of course he might bring that up. It's an issue of race, and he's a black man who's the moderator.
Okay.
So he should have expected that. Again, debate
that's a good point, actually, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, but when Hillary Clinton has no real thing to say, she plays the race card. And that's all she did last night, and that's all the birther thing was about. I don't think anybody cares about the birther issue except Hillary and 3 of her friends.
Well, but no disrespect. Wait a second. No disrespect, Wilbur. The black community cares about the birther issue, and I'm surprised you would say no one cares about it, because this entire country cares about the respect of the presidency. So I totally disagree with you, and I'm surprised by that.
I think the entire country is much more concerned about civil disorder, about policemen being killed.
No, but you said no one cares but Hillary. I was
on a relative scale.
Well, but you said nobody. You know that's not accurate.
The birther issue is not the world's biggest issue.
I didn't say world's biggest, and you're trying to be a good surrogate, but you know, okay, that is an issue for the last 5 years. You can read the paper. It's not new news.
But, Robert, it opens up the question. We did have the first African-American president, and the African-American community is no better off. Why?
Also, Obama is not the candidate.
Right,
Hillary Clinton.
I'm only responding to you, Wilbur. You said no one cares but Hillary. That's just not accurate.
It is striking that we have, after 8 years of an African-American president, you see these protests around the country. You know, I'm very struck. I'm old enough to remember the 1968 Olympic Games when, you know, African-American athletes gave the Black Power salute. It's kind of weird that 50 years later, and after an African-American president, we seem to be back in that situation as far as race relations are concerned.
And that's where Trump should have gone.
Yeah, again, I agree. That's right. He should be onto those issues. He's better when he's talking about crime in the inner cities. He's absolutely right what he says about Chicago. And if anyone been through the south side of Chicago, into the south side of Chicago, or to these places in Baltimore and America's cities where there is terrible crime, there's a total lack of opportunity. And look, those people have not advanced. Life for those people has not advanced. Sometimes Trump goes over the top when he says, you know, their life is hell. I think he said last night, well, it's not hell. Okay, but it's not, they haven't made progress, the kind of progress that they would expect to make in the last 8 years. And his point about Democrats, you know, the Democratic candidates, they come around every 4 years and they ask for their vote and they get their vote and then they take them for granted. I think that resonates a lot. He needs to stick to those issues. Unfortunately, and I do think we're here, Wilbur, I disagree with you, unfortunately, the birther issue he's allowed the birther issue to become a complete distraction and to enable people to portray him as encouraging racism, at least because of that.
But I think the inner city mother who's worried about her child's safety, the least thing on her mind is the birther issue. The most thing on her mind is crime in her neighborhood.
True.
And using birther as an excuse to have a real discussion about why is there more disorder now than there was a few years ago? Why is there no respect for the police?
No.
Why are people continuing to riot? Those are the issues that the people need to focus on.
I'm just saying that this question didn't come from Secretary Clinton. It came from the moderator, and he struggled to answer it. That's all.
Because again, because he gave that when he came up on the birther issue a couple of weeks ago. You know, he could have buried this issue by saying, I totally accept President Obama was born in the United States. I looked into it. He produced his birth certificate. I totally accept it. Instead, he tried to turn it into a thing about Hillary Clinton. Now, again, there are a lot of legitimate questions, and I know personally, as a reporter back in the 2008 campaign, some of the things that Sidney Blumenthal was going around raising about Hillary Clinton, about Barack Obama. He was doing that. That's perfectly fair. But this is not productive territory.
And Mark Penn is on the program today, so we're going to talk about that.
there were two Hillary Clintons on the stage. One was the real Hillary, the other was the moderator.
By the way, Hillary Clinton came back from her pneumonia, and she brought this issue up again. You know, again, this is something that Donald Trump fell for. She was out for a couple of days. She comes back, and she gets him off message with the birther issue. I mean, look.
But he comes up and he says, look, Hillary Clinton started the birther issue. I helped President Obama by helping him produce his birth certificate. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to any people, and he shouldn't say those things. He should talk about the issues that Wilbur's talking about the real issues of race, the real things that really get people.
Part of the debate prep is to shut down what does not work for you, and he did not do that.
That's right. Wilbur, final word here from you. You're a businessman. You are a Trump supporter. What does he walk away learning, from that debate last night? Can he come back stronger in the next debate?
Oh, I think he will come back stronger. The important thing for this debate was so that the 100 million or whatever number of people were watching it felt more comfortable with him, that he's not a bomb thrower, that he's not some wild creature. That's what he was trying to accomplish, and I think he accomplished that.
You think he
that was the mission that was set out for the debate.
I'm surprised.
That's why the tone was so mild. In the very beginning, he said, Secretary Clinton, is it all right if I call you that? It's very important to me that you're happy. That was the whole idea of the debate from the Trump camp point of view.
Okay.
Now, you may disagree with the strategy, but he followed the strategy.
But the bar that we're setting for the President of the United States is that he's not a bomb thrower. I'm surprised that that's the bar we're setting. We're better.
That's been Hillary's whole campaign.
We're much better than that.
You can't trust Trump with the button.
He may have gone over that bar. Well, I think last night
but that's something that she set up, right?
Based on his response on nuclear and NATO, I think people struggled on his responses on security.
Again, I think the independent person is caring about domestic issues.
Okay,
not
leave
about
it there.
NATO.
Wilbur, good to see you. Wilbur Ross.